doing it. Okay, who knew coffee would be so different than having a normal drink?
Yeah.
You know? Like, my like, it's thrown off a little bit because I don't grab mugs with my left hand.
I guess you are sitting, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I just kept trying to reach across.
Whenever
and it just didn't work.
when we're drinking beer or something, you're fine with just like. Is it because of the?
I think it's
handle?
because of this. Yeah, for sure.
Well, what if a coffee mug just doesn't have the handle?
Is it a mug at that point?
Well, my roommate has a coffee mug that has like this sleeve that goes over it to keep it warm.
Yeah.
But it's like the like one of those pipes from Mario. That's what it looks like. It's like a pinkish red hue to it.
Okay.
That's just like when I look at it, I just think it looks like a pipe from Mario.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like it's like a PVC pipe.
Yeah.
Just like I'm like.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the handle to it.
Oh.
She used to love that thing when we got it at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year.
And you shattered it.
Yeah, and and she kept it at my apartment when I lived in Cleveland, and now she just never uses it. Like every time I make her tea, I say, "You want to use your Rock and Roll Hall of Fame mug?" And she's like, "No, I don't." I think the last time I asked her, she was like, "I don't think I like it that much." Or like, I don't think it works well with tea or something. Like, that's the perfect thing for tea. It keeps it warm and like you don't burn yourself.
Yeah. I need one of those. I never finished my coffee. Did we start, by the way?
Yeah. This is we started.
Oh my God.
Hello and welcome to the Friendship and Stupidity podcast. The early morning, might be afternoon episode of
but
the podcast.
Still morning.
Yes.
Still morning.
We are in mourning.
No, I mean, not really. Not really.
No.
We're just both tired. And do you want to say what we did yesterday?
We played video games, but specifically, we got back into our origin story and played Power Wash Simulator. And it's just like, it's such a nice game. I don't care what anyone says. It's just, it feels like it would be one of those games where you could never go back and play it again after you beat it. But, oh my God, playing some of those levels.
It's like warm bread. You know, have you ever heard of like the warm bread factor? Like, there's something about just getting some warm bread and eating it that it's just like comforting. That's that game. Or it's just like having chicken noodle soup whenever you're sick. It's like that type of like, it's that good stuff. Yeah, exactly. Like it's the good stuff. Like, I don't know. Yeah, because we were like, let's just play it. Why not? We were waiting for another game to download. We were like, let's just play it. Whatever. We'll play through on your account, since we only went through on Andy's, and we absolutely smattered that game. Like, we were playing it for so long.
It was like another episode of the podcast if the podcast ran on for 7 hours.
Pretty much.
And it wasn't like the only thing that came up that I felt like was like podcast material was whenever I started talking about how I wanted to be an insane boss one day. And I thought about that earlier in the morning that yesterday. And I really was thinking like, this is going to be a really funny thing to talk about if we, not for this episode, because there's a specific reason that we're doing this episode.
Correct. Which is?
This is, if my calculations are correct, and if the release dates of the episodes are correct, this will be the 1 year anniversary of us podcasting.
Disgusting.
It's disgusting as a word. I wasn't gonna say that, but that's definitely a word. It feels weird that I feel like we've been doing the video podcast for longer. but this is only going to be the 11th episode of it.
Yeah, for the video.
Mm-hmm.
But do you remember? So look, for this one, we just decided to keep it relaxed. I mean, we'll still probably talk about dumb stuff, but we're also gonna try to keep it family friendly.
Yes.
This time, which in the very beginning, I immediately cursed. Like,
Right, but that wasn't. I think I'll be able to cut that out.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, if not, we'll just bleep it and be
Yeah.
like, well, okay, and that could be the intro. Yeah, because it was immediately that I cursed, and I didn't even think about it, which was something that we were talking about last night when we were playing games of just like, I want to try to like get that back down to a minimum. So then I was like, this episode will be perfect to see how we can do that.
A little bit of a test.
Yeah.
And we even said that we're not gonna like specifically censor ourselves whenever we're not gonna say like something stupid like, "Oh, that guy's such a butt." Like it's not even a censorship of like showing it to more people or whatever. It's just like we kind of both noticed that we just swear a lot.
Yes, very consistently.
Yeah.
And this can be one that we can just show to more people. Just
Well, we've been wanting to our family members, specifically our mothers, have asked about the podcast. And we've all said we've always said don't listen to it.
Don't.
Not even because of the words we use, but just the vulgarity of like the topics that we talk about.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you not remember what we talked about last episode?
Let's not bring it up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Like, but that it's just
if anyone's listening that is a parent that's related to us in some way, don't look at the last episode.
No, I would say don't look at a majority of them. But like, it's always like a, how do I describe it? It's always like a free flow of thought. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we just somehow it goes there. I don't know how we always get on those topics, but we do, and it's just I don't get it.
I think
is it us, Andy?
I think it might be. I think there's definitely been a turn in the things we think about when it comes to the podcast. Because like I think at the very beginning which this is actually a really good walk down memory lane.
That's exactly because we mentioned possibly doing that.
Like talking about like our like some of the favorite things we discussed or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Or just some stuff about the podcast in general. Yeah, since it's the 1 year.
I think the first few episodes were a little rough for us, like just trying to get our footing and whatever. But I think we focused a lot on like those episodes that were like getting to know us. And I think we like those, like the 20 questions for both me and you. I think a lot of people really liked those.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
I think that got a lot of like return of like people like continuing to listen, and then like there was like the storylines of like the corn dog and like the people were like very invested in. Like I couldn't believe. And you know what? It's funny. Like there's a lot of people in the world that haven't had a corn dog. I'm not the only one.
Doubtful. I think you are. I think you are one of the only people that's never had a corn dog.
One
before.
of the only, sure, but not the only.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure your roommate hasn't had a majority of
of
items
like ground beef.
Yeah, which
or
is
ketchup
wild
or mustard.
Insane.
I think. I mean. Mustard and ketchup, I feel like you're not missing out anymore.
That's a bold statement. I'm not even like I'm a big ketchup guy, but mustard's grown on me.
Mustard has grown on me.
Yeah.
I think I really like whenever I go to again, Coney Island, I never get mustard on my hot dogs, but if I'm making my own hot dog, I go all out. I go mustard, ketchup, chili, cheese, onion, the works.
Why don't you get it out then?
Because I don't know. I think it's just like I love getting the chili cheese and onion dog whenever I go there.
So then the old chi and M don't mix or something? Is that what you're trying to say?
What is the chi and the M? Like mustard.
Cheese and mustard?
No, I think it would mix actually really well. It's just like force of habit. I think that's what it is. I just like whenever I order.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
It's just
that
like,
makes sense.
Can I get 2 with chili cheese and onion?
Yeah, it's like that is your go-to meal. It's like at Kent where whenever I went to Mike's place, shout out to Mike's place, incredible.
Shout out to Mike's place.
We just talked about going back to Kent for getting Mike's place.
If you do, let me know because my roommate really wants to visit. Just experience it.
I think she would like Kent. I think she will hate Mike's place.
Really?
I think she will loathe it.
Because it's like overwhelming?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The menu alone, it's going to freak her out. It's going to freak her out. And I will do my best to help people through it. Like the first time I had to help my parents through it, I do the same thing I do with everybody. For those who don't know, I probably should also say this. Mike's place is a place that literally serves anything and everything. Literally. Their menu is bigger than our table here, which I don't even know. I can't remember the dimensions of our table, but I
don't know. I don't know why
imagine a normal human male's arm, and that's the length of their menu, and it folds out 6 times.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I think, when was the last time you were there, though? Because I think they may have consolidated a little bit.
I went right before we moved here.
Okay. I went there in February last year, and I think it was a little bit smaller. It's still like the same, like still is big, but I don't think it folds out as many times anymore.
Damn, that's a shame. That's a damn shame, but probably helps them.
Yeah, but I also had to teach. I was there with my brother and my sister-in-law, and I had to I had to show them like, okay, it's really overwhelming, and they use like shortened words for everything. Yeah. So look at the key, and it's ridiculous having a key for a menu at a restaurant.
Yeah, and I would always tell people, I'm like, do you want this? And they were like, no, that doesn't sound good to me. I was like, don't even look at this then. You're in this sheet right here. You're in column A and column B.
That's a good point.
Don't even try to go over to C and D because that's just going to mess with your head. Like, you can't even do it. I don't even remember what we were talking. Oh, I think that was just my point of that. It's just so much chaos that there's. I don't know if she would like that because there's already so much stuff she hasn't tried that it's just going to be even more of just wild.
I mean, there's chicken tenders on the menu, so she's fine.
Dude, some chicken tenders sound amazing.
Sometimes, like, you kind of think about like how chicken tenders are such like a kid meal, but then you think, you know what? Some restaurant style chicken tenders they go hard. I used to go to my public pool back at my hometown, and they had like the best deep fried chicken tenders. Like it just
Whew. I literally just had breakfast like an hour or two ago. I would down some chicken tenders right now. Oh my God. I don't know why.
Some chicken tenders, some chicken tendies, and honey mussy.
Yeah. Honey mussy. I tell you what though. Honey mustard though.
Yeah.
That's grown on me. That's another prime M for sure right there.
Well, when you go to McDonald's and you get a tenner. I was going to say 10-pack, but that's not right.
That's definitely not right.
Yeah, a 10-piece. Is it honey mustard that you get for the sauce?
No.
What do you get?
I don't get chicken tendies.
What? Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say you don't get sauce.
No. Oh.
Well, like even as a kid, like even when you were younger, I'm sure you got.
It would probably be barbecue.
That's fair.
Because I just said it just started growing on me because I like to put it on like sausage or something. You know what I mean?
Get honey mustard on sausage.
Yeah.
Interesting. Wow.
You never tried that?
I've never put anything on sausage. Well, like the sausage like the breakfast sausage that you have out there.
No, like an actual like.
Okay. No, I always like like whenever I've made the Italian sausage for the Super Bowl, I always just put ketchup on it. Like that's where ketchup like shines bright like a diamond.
Andy, you haven't lived.
Well, no. Actually, the first time I brought it over to your apartment in Cuyahoga Falls, you had some like slapping, like some sort of mustard, or maybe Colin brought it over. Shout out to Colin, by the way.
Have we talked about Colin before in the podcast?
I think we may have mentioned him a long time ago.
Huh.
But like I don't know.
Shout out to Colin.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know if we've ever name dropped him. Yeah.
Well, there you go, Colin.
Yeah.
I won't remember what we.
He's my, he's my my fellow WWE fan.
Yeah.
He posts on his Instagram story a lot about the WWE. He even put his Spotify Wrapped on, and one of his like top artists was WWE, and I was like,
That's rad.
That's awesome. Like I don't know what you're listening to. Like I'm sure it's when he's working out. Like some of the music on there is just like really gets you going, but that was really cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's got to be like the intro songs or something.
That's what
just getting in there and get you amped up, get you going. Yeah, I can remember lifting with Colin, and it was right after he started to watch like anime for the first time, and one song on one of the openings just went hard, and he started to lift to it, and he was like, I can lift so much more now because like when that song gets going, he was like, there's just something about it. He's like, I'm ready to go. He's like, I feel like I'm running into battle, like let's do it. And I'm like, sometimes man, sometimes there's music like that just gets you going, gets your body going, gets you feeling good. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like, are you like that with music? Like, because some people like they listen to music and they're like, it's okay.
I've fallen off of it quite a bit, but I started running, and I did it I did it consistently through October and most of November, and I've fallen off the last 2 weeks. But there was one day that I had on my schedule that I had to run 1.5 miles. And I think it was run it in, I think I originally clocked, like when I first started, like an 18-minute mile. So I wasn't like running at all. I was just like going at a regular like walking pace or whatever. But I realized like, I wanted to push myself a little bit. I wanted to try to get like a 12-minute mile. But for the 1.5, I like really pushed myself, and I just listened to Greta Van Fleet the whole entire time, and that got me going. Like that's what it was. It's like, I don't know what you could, have you listened to them before? So I don't know what you would call them as a genre, but they're definitely rock, but they're not like a heavy. There's actually a band that, is it Led Zeppelin that a lot of people,
that's kind of like what they base themselves off of.
Okay, yeah. That's like, if you haven't heard of Greta Van Fleet, and you have heard of Led Zeppelin, like they're like one and the same. Yeah,
pretty much. Like it's like a second coming of like Led Zeppelin. Like that guy's voice is pretty much like Led Zeppelin. I mean, that's like the key. Like that's kind of. I don't know if they really started off as like a cover band, but like it wouldn't surprise me.
I think they did. I looked it up, and I think the name even like came from another cover that they were doing, Greta Van Fleet. I think there may have been like even like Van Halen, because like that's where Greta Van. I could be butchering that, and people that really enjoy Greta Van Fleet are gonna be like, I can't believe that he's just saying
absolutely
that.
Just butchering it. I mean, makes you feel any better? I don't know a damn thing about them. That's not a curse word.
That's not. No,
it's not a curse word. I will fight my mother on that. That's not a curse word.
Well, sometimes my brother is like very defensive over me swearing around my mom. He's like, I'm not gonna say it because we're trying to be clean, but I'll swear, I'll say like whatever word it is, and he'll just be like, "Watch your mouth" or whatever. But like my mom, like she'll just laugh when I say it.
Uh-huh.
Like she just thinks it's funny,
Mm-hmm.
and like there's part of her that's like, yeah, you probably shouldn't swear, but sometimes it's just the way you say it is funny.
There is something about like there's something about when some people curse that just really just the way they like, enunciate. Would that be the correct
Yes,
word? Yeah,
yes.
it's just something about the way they do it. Like my roommate loves whenever my mom curses about anything and everything. Like she just loves it because there's just something away. Which then my mom, I think it's like her voice. Her voice just sounds like very innocent. And she hates when people say that, or if they say that her voice is squeaky or something. She's like, that just annoys me. Like, so like it annoys her. But like whenever she curses, it's very, very funny. And I can remember whenever I first started dating my roommate. Like like, has your roommate explained like how much that frustrates her?
Being called a roommate?
Yeah.
No, because she doesn't listen to the podcast.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez, God. Well, mine tells me she hates it all the time. So, shout out to my roommate.
Yeah.
But the first time not the first time, but after a few times of like my roommate coming over and hanging out with my family, we're sitting there talking, and I never really. I still rarely. I mean, I do it. I curse in front of like my mom, but I rarely did it. And we were sitting there like eating food with my mom and dad, and she just goes, "Well, yeah, I'd a curse like a sailor." And my mom just looks at me and goes, "Really, really, you curse like a sailor?" And I was like, "Apparently, yeah." And she's like, "Oh yeah, he's always cursing." And I'm just like, why are you doing this to me right now? I can remember that being such a vivid memory of just getting just completely caught out. And then since that day, like I've just let more and more of them slip, and now I'm like, I've gotten better about it. But there is something strange about sometimes cursing. And then you have friends who have always cursed in front of their parents. That's wild.
That makes me uncomfortable.
It does. It's wild.
Well, it's not even that they curse in front of their parents. It's the word, like there's some words that you just don't say.
Oh yeah.
And
they just say it.
But they just say it.
They just say it.
Just say it. I almost swore right there. You
saw
it. You saw it.
I thought I heard it.
Yeah. Oh, I saw it myself. They just say it. They just go right in and they say it.
Yeah, I remember the first time, because I have one friend who he's always been able to curse. His parents, they didn't care. Like it's for them, it's just words, which I get it. So like whenever he was at school, he would always just say them, and everyone was like, "That's wild." And he was like, "What the?" And like even teachers would catch him, and they're like, "Hey, you can't say that." And he's like, "Sorry, like this is just how it is at home. Like it's not even. I don't even think about it." And I remember going over there for the first time and witnessing it, and I was just. Like my brain just like it blew off. I was gone. It was wild. I couldn't believe it. It's crazy.
Well, on the flip side of us, also, I feel like your roommate was just calling you out because she wanted to get the attention off of her because she's the one who swears like a sailor.
My God, yes. Yeah, she's really, really bad about it. I remember I told somebody like before they even met her that she cursed like a sailor. She hated me for like a week. She's like, "Why did you do that?" I was like, "Is it true?"
They're going to find out eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's going to cut you off and you're going to call them 8 different words. Like, you know what I mean? Like, or somebody's going to do something stupid and you're going to say like at least 10 bad words about them. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's going to be known immediately. And that's one thing that like whenever people, because I remember you saying, or no, was it you? God, I can't remember now. It might have been my friend Logan, which also reminds me, I have a quote from Logan that I need to read at some point on my phone. But I remember the first time that he really hung out with my roommate because we all went to school together. So every one of my friends knew her but never really hung out with her. And so the first time that we all kind of hung out, cursed like crazy. Absolute sailor. Also, if my roommate's mom's watching this episode, get her. Get her. But my friend Logan literally went, I didn't realize she cursed so much. And I was like, yeah, dude. Yeah. All the time.
Uh-huh.
All the freaking time. Yeah. It was wild.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
I'm sure she's going to love this.
I feel like I was in a situation with someone. It wasn't. I think I just had like a female friend, not a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
But I think my mom or someone was around them, and she was cursing a lot, and my mom was like, "Wow, she's got quite the mouth on her." And I was, like, it's like such a sweet way to say like. She's got to calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's also really funny. Like whenever we go to any like family event, like Thanksgiving or something, we have one family member that she just doesn't care. She just like lets it fly. And like every time, like there's always a debriefing after, like when we get home, she's just like, man, she really just let it go tonight, didn't she?
It's such a mom thing too. Yeah. It's like, gee, like.
Well, on the flip side of all of this, like on all of us being these sailors, my roommate, and you know this, has never swore.
I feel like I've heard her swear before.
Nope.
I feel like I have.
No, I think the only time you would hear her swear is if she was talking about, like if she said damn, but she was referencing the object. Which when you think about someone who's never
bumping this table, dude.
Yeah, this is your first time.
I'm just so nervous. It's,
you just feel like you're about to blow.
Yeah.
Do you? I don't know if you've ever met anyone that's like that, that's never swore, but whenever you imagine them reading and there's like curse words in the book, what do you think they do? Do you think they say them in their head, or do you think they just like, oh, butts?
You know what? I think they go hard whenever they're reading in their head.
Agree.
I think they put the most emphasis that they possibly can. So when they see that, when they see that F -- word, they go hard.
Good reference to a terrible movie.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see in about 2 weeks when we talk about movies, Christmas movies. But no, like I bet they just hammer it home.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like
I wish I had telepathy just so I could just like sit on the couch while she's reading, and I'm like, oh, so that's how you would say it.
Yeah. It's like that wasn't proper at all. No way.
You don't say it right.
Yeah, you don't say it right. It's like they just even like mispronounce it in their heads. It's like, you really just don't even know how to say that word, do you? That'd be wild, actually. Huh.
Which is apparently, shout out to my roommate's parents if they end up listening to this. They never, according to her, they never used to swear when they were younger, and they really don't swear now, but they have like an extended family that they hang out with. Mm-hmm. That's I don't want to say it's a lot more frequent now, but they've started to just they're in the group that just like they just swear. Mm-hmm. And like that's nothing on them. It's just like, again, like how you grow up, you just kind of do it.
Well, I feel like ours were probably pretty similar. Curse words rarely happen, but when they did, you were like, okay. You know what I mean? Like they were just like, I guess that happened. And then that was it. Like you just didn't think anything about it, but you just knew not to say them because you were just like, man, that's not nice.
Yeah.
So I feel like we probably grew up in a similar way.
Yeah, very much. Well, yeah. And when my parents were married, they didn't really swear all that much. But then when they got divorced, my dad just kind of let it go. He was just like, all right, let's do this thing. Mm-hmm. I'm a trucker. I don't care.
Yeah. My dad, he would always, he would hold it back as much as possible. He would always let a few of them slide, but like, again, never really never really cursed too much. I think though my mom did say whenever he worked, oh gosh, I can't remember where it was. She did have to tell him though. It's like, hey, you can say that stuff at work, but when you come home, we do have little ones. And he was like,
You're probably
that's
right.
fair. Yeah. Like, but it is one of those things where like, I definitely get that now. Like working at the job that I'm working at now, I totally get that. And then same thing with my brother in the job that he works. I would totally understand letting him fly. And then when you get home being like, I got to dial back.
Yeah.
Like I gotta,
Well, and that's
I
why
gotta
I think
turn
it's
the switch to
so
child friendly mode.
Yeah. That's why I think it's so interesting for my brother. He says that like at work it's just like the Wild West. And they're just like they're saying every word. What's the expression like it's like something 7 something to Sunday or I can't remember.
Yeah.
They just apparently just curse up and down
That's
all
wild.
the time, and then like, but then he'll like tell me to calm down whenever I swear around my mom. But like he can just switch, just like not swear. It's just insane to me. He also he can write one of the best emails to like the people that he works with, and just like and like when you think about it, it's like how do you just like go from cursing at your employees to
like the most professional thing
the
ever.
most professional thing. He also like he just talks about how he there was one time whenever he just said to his boss like, you can't fire me, you like you wouldn't do it.
I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I would love to do that so much.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Like the balls on that guy.
The balls on that guy. One thing though, I did want to talk about.
Yeah, I didn't want to get too far away from.
Well, not even
Oh, okay.
the quote.
Okay.
It was actually just something about that we mentioned, but it was because it was about you and your roommate actually. And I think we absolutely need to convince her to do an episode, because I described it to my mom not too long ago that you guys are like polar opposites of each other, but it balances out perfectly because when people talk to you, they go, he's wild. Like, what just happened? What conversation did I just have? And then when they talk to her, they're like, well, she's just the nicest person ever. And then like hardly said a word, you know, it's like whatever. And then when they go to you again, they're just like,
Are you
we
sure?
talked about anything and everything. You know what I mean? Like,
When and this goes back to the swearing thing. When I was telling my mom about my roommate for the first time, I told her like she's real sweet. She's never swore, and my mom was like, "Hold on, are you sure this is the right one?" It's like the same response. Like I mean, we get along fine. We like it's great, but it is really funny how opposite we are, like in personalities, which like opposites attract. So it's like it's not.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
But that's just your guys' humor is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
which you said it yesterday that like we've really brought her out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because just what we cannot we cannot talk about that on this episode. But she was reading something the other day, which she really much wanted us to talk about it on the episode, which we probably can in another one. She was so happy to bring that to our attention and just wanted to tell us, like wanted to read.
Never swore, by the way. Still hasn't. So like it's nothing like no swearing involved in whatever. Yeah.
No, that reading had no swearing in it, but the actual subject of it was just wild.
And
I
how
was
excited she was.
That's
about
exactly it. And I was like, my God, you've come so far. You've come so far from where you were before of just like, keeping to herself, whatever, to now being like, you got to read this.
Hey, you want to see this?
You want to see some wild stuff that I'm reading? Or like...
And it was an assignment for school, too.
Yeah, or like the test that she made me do on the computer. And I was like, what is this? And she's just losing it. She's loving every second of it because she's just like, it's ridiculous, right? And just, yeah, it's made me laugh so much. So like, absolutely, I feel like she would need to be on here because it would be such a,
I really think
such
it would
a polar opposite.
I think the way it would work, like the way that this room is set up, like how we have that like separate desk, your desk over there with your mic, and how like it would take a little bit of like work to get it all set up. But like I'm just imagining us like sitting here, and then like she would just like chime in. It would be like us talking to like an audio engineer like on other podcasts, and we'd just be like,
how's it sound? Yeah. Yeah. I would love it. I think if we got my roommate on here, though, I think we would get yelled at a majority of the time. Because she's not quite the polar opposite.
Of you?
Yeah.
Or
like, I would say we're pretty similar.
I'd say so.
Yeah. But I think just she has way more limits than I do, and I think that would be crossed.
Well, I think
so fast, and she'd be like, "Nope."
When she listens to the podcast, she argues with us, and she's like, "Why are you talking about that?" But like live in person, like hearing us, there would be so like, "Don't talk about that. What are you saying?"
Yes, yeah, we get that a lot. We hear that probably every other episode. We probably hear, why would you guys talk about that? And that's just not from her. We get that from a lot of people. We get that from a good amount of people, and we also get to people try to talk to us during our episodes. I don't understand that.
I think
maybe we're just goofy enough that, or our conversations are just so weird that they're like, they feel like they need to add in. But I've gotten that a few times from multiple people.
I think that is a really, so going back to us doing this podcast for a year now.
Yeah.
I think that kind of brings up a really interesting point that I was actually thinking about whenever on the drive over here this morning. I think that we've been trying to figure out what this podcast is. And from everything we've heard from people about like what they say about it, they all say that like when they've listened to this podcast, they feel like they're friends with us. And I think that's just like, that's the perfect way to like say what this podcast is. It's just like everyone that listens is our friend.
Yeah.
Like, and it, even if they don't know us, like there are people that you said that grew up in your hometown that have listened to it, and they're like, I think I'm friends with Andy now. Or one of my coworkers that listens, or old coworkers that listens to it, he says, I feel like I'm friends with Isaac now. I feel like I know exactly like what kind of person he is. I think that's just like, that's the best thing.
And when we get to meet those people eventually, I'll go right into it.
It's gonna be just normal. Like we've been friends for years.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's it's an interesting thing because I agree. Like that's the one thing that we hear pretty consistently, that people just know us by the end of like an episode, and I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And actually that kind of brings us right into what my friend said.
Well, there
Logan.
you go.
Yeah. Which he sent this very nice message to us. I think it was about a few weeks ago, almost right before Thanksgiving, I believe. Just saying that he'd listened to the podcast, and whenever he was listening to a different podcast, that they had this really cool statistic that came up, and this is what it was. And I'm sure I can probably even find the actual podcast that he referenced this from, but it said 90% of podcasts don't make it past episode 3. Of the 10% that make it past episode 3, 90% don't make it past episode 20. By making 21 podcast episodes, you're already in the top 1% of all podcasts ever in history.
Which, when you think about the number of podcasts that exist, it's pretty nuts to think about that. But it's also pretty nuts to think that we've been doing it for as long as we have. Like we stopped numbering them, but there's got to be over 60 episodes that we've done at this point. And even if you just count, like if you just get rid of the original ones that we did.
Yeah, don't count the first like 4 or 5.
Yeah. But even if we don't count the like from December until July whenever we stopped. If we don't count any of those, we have 11 episodes now. I mean, we have no end in sight. We have no reason to end it now. Like
no. We thought we were going to run out of stories.
Some may say we did.
But even then we still remember, we still think of just random ones. And I mean,
there are many episodes where we just say we don't know what we're talking about and we make an episode.
Oh, that's almost every episode. Literally, that's
the last episode.
I was going to say that is a common. I actually think we need to get a sign that says, "Do you know what today's podcast is going to be about?" And then right after that, just a simple, "No."
Yeah,
because that sentence is said every single time. Anytime Andy walks in the door, puts his book bag on the bed, and gets his laptop out to record, one of us says the sentence, "Do you know what we're talking about today?" And one of us just goes, "No." That is every single episode. And every single time we've said that, honestly, the times where we're like, "Yeah, I got something," those episodes are fine. The episodes where we're like, "I have no idea what we're going to talk about," some of the best ones.
I think I was talking to my roommate about this because I had said, like, it's a very common that this happens, that we don't know what we're going to talk about. But every time you bring something up, like you have something to talk about, it's a oh my, that was so close. It's a banger of an episode. It's always so good. When like the hypothesis or the simulation hypothesis, that was such a good episode.
Is it bad that I don't remember these episodes?
Well, I would say no, because if you were editing them, you would remember them.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, which I don't really even listen to them whenever I'm editing them because it's actually pretty easy to edit them now. I just kind of listen through a little bit to try to figure out what I'm going to title them or like get a description.
Yeah, because that was actually something we were talking about doing this episode of just talking about the podcast, which we actually really haven't done too much about talking of it. Like I just thought about that. Andy mentioned that like we could do like a greatest hits, and I was like thinking to myself, well, some of those greatest hits could very well just be, you know, us talking about or like our shorts that we put on YouTube.
That right.
Because I mean a lot of those are pretty funny. But I also thought too, I was like, I might just have to look at the title episodes because I was like, I don't even remember at this point like some of the stories because I mean we've had some great ones. I can't remember last episode.
The great thing about doing the shorts is that some of the titles of the episodes are a little deceiving. Like there have been a few shorts that I've gone through and edited down that are in episodes that you would have never even expected. Like it's titled one thing, but we talk about this completely different thing like halfway through, and it's just this like like 2-minute little thing that I cut down to a minute or shorter, and that's just like that's all it is. But so it's kind of hard to be like, wow, that was really in that episode, or like this episode is labeled the Corn Dog Saga. Okay, I remember the Corn Dog Saga, but there's something in there in the middle that just like doesn't make sense to the title.
No, that's just literally how we are though. Like none of our episodes, we go through 8 different topics in one episode, just like we did today. We talked about the podcast. We talked about Kent. We talked about...
I'm surprised you're able to name all this stuff.
We talked about Colin in WWE.
That's true. Shout out to Colin.
We talked about our roommates. Talked about your roommate. We talked about cursing.
We did talk about the podcast
Oh yeah,
So,
we
like,
definitely did.
yeah, as little as it was, I feel like we gave it a good. I mean, we didn't want to spend the whole entire episode just saying like, hey, remember this? Remember when we talked about
Yeah,
this?
we didn't want to do a clip show
Exactly.
of like being like, really makes me think of this memory,
And then,
just
and then it does the.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a funny memory?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like we definitely didn't want to do that, but I mean, this is the first time that we even have decided to do our morning one. Which, do you remember the first time that we mentioned of doing like a morning coffee?
For like the video, or for
Just in general? Like, I feel like it was super early on, but I don't remember what episode.
Well, we did it. We've done early morning episodes where I've like literally crawled out of bed and I started recording.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, no, I completely forgot about that. I guess just doing it in person then, yeah, because
We've been talking about it for a long time, probably since since the redoing of this, like episode 1.
yeah. Oh my god, I do remember that episode though, where I don't remember what we talked about, but I do remember literally us waking up. I went and grabbed a cup of coffee, and you said, "I need coffee."
Yeah, you were like, "Hey, you want to do this?" And I'm like, "I'm literally still laying in bed. Give me a minute."
Is that when you were still recording in your closet?
No, that's when I moved to my bedroom.
Okay.
The closet came. I don't even know why I did that.
I don't remember either, but do you still have the picture?
Yeah.
On Instagram?
Yeah, I do. And that was the most broken episode too, because in the middle of us recording, my computer just stopped working.
Oh my god,
I
yeah.
gotta check my computer right there. It's good.
Oh my god, I forgot all about that. Oh my god. Do you remember, was that the same episode where my internet kept going out?
Mm-mm. There were two. I think that happened. That happened a couple times, and that was around. It was like when I came over here for the Super Bowl last year. Your internet was just like, you didn't have internet for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that was around the time when we tried recording. Like, I think it was only 2 episodes that were really broken, where like I would just be talking, and then it would just go silent. I'm like, Isaac, hello. Like, oh, I'm keeping this in.
Yeah, exactly. Because then, like, at the same time, my audio is still recording, and so I would just record messages for Andy the whole entire time.
It was so good.
I'll be like, Andy, I hope to God you're hearing this right now, because right now I'm losing it, and I'm like, would be like, purposely just making loud noises in the background, just screaming. Yeah,
It was so entertaining to listen to afterwards. Like whenever, yeah.
yeah. God, I forgot all about those. Oh my god. There would be all the times too where how we would do it, we would just, right now Andy's just recording off of his computer, and once it's done, we're good to go. Whenever we did it over the computer though, I had to remember to put my audio in the Dropbox or the Google Drive. And what percentage do you think that I actually did that?
It was probably about, I mean, you were good about it. I think I would say like 90% of the time you had it in the Google Drive, but there was like, we would record an episode on, it was either Tuesday or Wednesday, and I was putting them out on Friday, and I would text you, or I would put it off until like Thursday where I would start editing. And I would look at it and I'm like, it's Thursday. I'm like, oh God, it's not here. And I would have to text you, and you'd be like, I'm not home.
Yeah.
I got to do this whenever I get back. If you don't focus on it, no one will know.
Yeah.
If you don't say anything, no one will realize.
Yeah. I thought I was going to be the bad one about not cursing this episode.
Well, I'm quoting you. So it's really, it's me through you, or you through me. What?
Me, you, me?
Yeah.
You, me?
You, me, you, me, you?
What the hell?
This?
Yeah.
Hey!
I got all the way. That's not a curse word. That's not a curse word.
That's true.
We'll
That's okay. Yeah.
whatever.
The
It's the end of the episode anyway.
I just realized that this mug isn't made for a right-handed person. because are you supposed to have it like this? So you're looking at Stay Cozy, California.
Why does it matter?
Because like whenever I have a mug that has a design, I like to have the design out. So that's whenever I like I have a Big Hero 6 mug, and I like to have Hero's face on it. No, it's not Hero. What's
Baymax?
Baymax. I always mix Hero and Baymax. Or not that I mix them up, just that I forget that Hero isn't the big marshmallow.
Doesn't make sense to have a kid named Baymax.
No. No. But I always have his face, like facing, like whenever I'm in meetings, I always like have it facing the camera. So like you'd think that I want Stay Cozy, but I'd have to hold it with my left hand. But is it supposed to be so you're reading Stay Cozy?
Why does it matter? It's just a mug. Drink your coffee.
I want a mug that just doesn't say anything, so then I don't have to worry about it. See, that's perfect.
Literally this cup right here.
Yeah. I grabbed this mug because I thought this looks perfect. This is a mug with this cork bottom and a nice little. I don't know, what is this?
It's just a mug. What do you mean?
No, like what's the texture of this? It's not. Is it clay? I don't think this is clay.
No, we didn't make it in one of those spinning pots.
No, I didn't say that you did,
class.
But pottery class, not clay class. I don't know. It's just like the look of it. I really liked it, and then I saw Stay Cozy. Like, okay, I mean, I feel like that's good for this episode. But then I realized that I've had it sitting like this the whole time, and I've been looking at Stay Cozy, and I'm just not okay with that.
What difference does it make? just because it's like
I don't know. We're gonna end it there.
Okay. Also, did you spill coffee on your sweatshirt?
Did I?
No, on the sleeve.
No, I don't know what this is.
Huh.
That's a mystery stain that's been there for a long time. Whenever I packed up a lot of my long sleeve shirts for the summer last year, I unpacked them recently, and they had a lot of these stains on them. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know, man.
That's Mr. Sand.
Holding that in for a while.
I've been coughing this whole entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't take any of my medicine this morning. I didn't spray anything up my nose.
God, we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
On some other episode.
But just that I'm just like.
Yeah. Andy makes the most ridiculous old man noises.
Man smoker for 50 years.
Yeah, right into the mic too when we're playing games.
It always sounds like I'm revving up an engine.
It really does.
Every time I do that too, my roommate's sitting on the couch and she's like, "Yeah?"
And I'm always on the end of the mic just going, just clear. Just clear.
Get some water.
The one day I did tell you that. I was like, Andy, you're going to get some water, dude. Like, I don't know what's going on. Because you did it for 10 minutes straight. And I just was like, it was one of those things where I was like, it's not bothering me. It doesn't matter. 2 minutes go by and I'm like, it's like a little annoying, but it's fine. Another 4 minutes go by. I was like,
please
just clear the throat already. And then by that 10-minute mark, I was like, Andy, get some water. This is driving me nuts, dude. I'm like, how have you been just going for 10 minutes and you haven't cleared your throat yet? So it was like, clear your dang throat and just get on with it. I said dang, by the way.
Yeah. You went on a tirade. I was expecting you to curse there at some point. I was waiting for it. But we made it.
What can I say? I never curse.
Thanks for listening. You almost did it. I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it.
Should have just done it.
No. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, for 1 year.
Here's to another I guess I was going to say 100 episodes, but this wasn't 100. I guess you could call it 52 because it's 52 weeks in a year. Anyway, we'll see you next year.
But it's not episode 52.
We'll see you next year. Wait, no, it's not going to be 2024. We're going to still be in
Jesus
2023.
Christ.
We'll see you in 2023.
Jesus Christ.
Specifically December, whenever that comes out.
What do you mean December comes out? December
This is
doesn't
getting-
come out, Andy.
This is getting long-winded. I think we
Yeah,
need to
it
end
is, but
Okay.
that December
Cut it,
doesn't come
cut it,
out.
Cut it. Cut it. Cut it.
Got it.
Use take 3.